goes down, volume up.
Ain't no cure for the summertime blues.
Sirius XM's SPF 200, the top 200 summer songs of all time.
I met you in the sun.
Sirius XM's SPF 200, starting Saturday, Channel 105 and the Sirius XM app.
With traditional radio, you could be putting up with 10, 15, even 20 minutes of interruptions every hour. Visit www.SiriusXM.com/go to sign up online quickly and activate your radio. Say goodbye to commutes spent constantly flipping through the dial trying to avoid commercials, and say hello to commercial-free music from nearly every genre, available nationwide. Become a SiriusXM subscriber today. Visit www.SiriusXM.com/go to sign up online quickly or call 844-711-8800 now. Tune in a world of music discovery and tune out annoying commercials.
There's a channel that explodes with pretty guitar texture and perfect pop melodies. Sirius XM Pop Rocks serves up those undeniable 90s anthems, 2K hits, and today's fresh pop finds. Pop Rocks. Turn it up now on Channel 6 and anytime in the all-new Sirius XM app. To hear Pop Rocks, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or head to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SiriusXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artists you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
There you go now.
I think I'm
Oh, I think so. You gotta get
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you, as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 018148688.
Grado Deportes, Bonjour, Vidi Vidi Vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me, and people who love the universe. And that would include you. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? Shut up! I tell you, people keep telling me shut up in the middle of the night when it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I thought I was going to bring the neighborhood together for Memorial Day weekend, for all the people who gave their life and service for this country. Giving you praise is not enough. I don't know, saying thank you for your service. And for those who are here, thank you for your service. I know it's a tough day for a lot of people. If you ever had anyone in the military that gave the ultimate sacrifice. I do want to talk about some things also today with Big C Sports Podcast about NBA basketball, of course, the Dallas Mavericks, they are up 3-0 over the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then tonight we have the Indiana Pacers. They trail the Boston Celtics 3-0. And I think Boston will sweep tonight in Indianapolis. And it just looks like Dallas is going to knock out Minnesota in Game 4. It's going to have a 2-game sweep unless something goes awry from what's happened in the first couple of games. Ronald Acuña Jr. has a torn ACL. Man, really feel bad for him. He had that just a couple of years ago. He came back from it, but hopefully he'll get better. It's just going to take time, and only time makes things better. But also some sad news today in the world of sports. An NBA icon, Bill Walton, passed away. I just found out today, getting ready for some NBA basketball, and they said he passed away of cancer. And he's obviously led UCLA to some great national championship games, part of the 88-game win streak that UCLA had, the longest in men's Division I college basketball, then won NBA championships with the Portland Trailblazers and the Boston Celtics. He was the voice of the Pac-12 for basketball and champion for that conference. Ironically, he's gone the same year that the conference is going to leave and join the Big Ten for other schools like Washington, USC, UCLA, and Oregon going to the Big Ten. And then Arizona State, Utah, and Colorado joining the Big 12. And there's talk that Utah wants to even leave the Big 12 before they even have a game and join the ACC. So who knows? But today's show, because I grew up watching Bill Walton, a little bit, it's like we got to enjoy every day. We got to enjoy every single day. I don't want to be affected by this stuff because I don't like talking about things that are macabre. But a golfer, say he committed suicide just on Friday, I believe. Withdrew from a tournament, playing the game of his life, and then Grayson Murray's gone at age 30. Now, it should not affect me because I don't know them personally, but I love the sports world. But my goodness, sometimes I wonder, you never know what people are going through. I got my own junk that I'm going through. But I walk every day, I pray every day. I'm just one person. You can't please everybody. But it's just a shame that so many people go through issues and then sometimes you don't know someone's breaking point. And Bill was only 71 years old. That's not that old. At 71. Had a great life. You would think as an athlete and a broadcaster, something that a lot of people want to be. So sometimes you take things for granted, and I don't want to take anything for granted. Just live in love. If you can't be, just try to make peace with everybody. That's the thing. When I heard about the golfer, really bothered me a little bit. But then today hearing about Bill Walton, and I don't know, I've never met Bill Walton. I've only watched a lot of his games when he played at UCLA, also Portland and Boston, and played with the great Larry Bird back in the day, Dennis Johnson, Robert Parrish, played with those great players, Kevin McHale, and now he's gone. And here's a man that loved NBA basketball, and now life is not promised to anybody. It's not. If you love somebody, tell them. But you can't please everybody. You got to please yourself first. And I just want to say thoughts and prayers to both gentlemen, Grayson Murray. I'll talk a little bit about that, but I don't like talking about that too much. But suicide, I have a Veterans Crisis Hotline that I read every show, especially on the Memorial Day. And the Charles Schwab Open, and he takes his own life. I don't know the whole details, so I don't want to sound ignorant just to report it. But again, thoughts and prayers seems like it seems like the simple thing to say. Thoughts and prayers. What does that really mean? Thoughts and prayers. I don't know what it means. But it's like trying to show someone some respect, But something was going on with that young man that maybe the people next to him or close to him, maybe they knew, maybe they didn't know. But that's when you need someone to reach out. At 30 is way too young. But we all have a day that we leave this planet. But that's just way too long. Way too young. For anybody that's ever dealt with that, you know, I don't know what to say other than, thoughts and prayers is all I can say. I don't know what else to say. But it made me really like a punch to my stomach because I love the sports business. And I know when I go through my own crap, I like to exercise and walk and just pray and chant and meditate. You know, I call it meditating, which is meditation and manifestation. I call it meditating. Trying to do more and more of that in my own life. And there are times, you know, you just got stuff that bothers you. And you gotta push through it. And that's what I don't know. But I just wish their families the very best. I want to say out Big C Sports Podcast, I always produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use my laughter in our lives. And then the stats are done. I do the storytelling. And I do the play-by-play. And I want to pay homage to Bill Walton on this play-by-play. Bill Walton 4-3. Yes, get in the hole. Live your life. The great Bill Walton. National champion at UCLA. Twice. And NBA champion with Portland. And also the Boston Celtics. And then just an icon of a broadcaster. He had his own unique style. No matter what people thought about Bill Walton, had his own unique style. He was uniquely Bill Walton. It's weird talking about him being gone for NBA playoffs. And then the show's uploaded to 29 podcast platforms out of New York City and 4 TV platforms streaming Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon and Fire TV. And I love doing that. And now to this part that I love talking about. Again, my show is different today. I hope it don't sound too melancholy, but I got crap going on in my life too. But I want to say the Veterans Crisis Hotline, they really are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know anybody going through issues, pick up the phone, call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255, or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give it some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. I say give it praise, 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 especially in a time like today. Memorial Day for our veterans. And then a golfer gone and suicide. And then Bill Walton passed away, cancer. There's so much crap. You know, I know I'm pushing for this reparations, and I appreciate the Senate of California passing 3 bills, 1331, and then 1430 and 1050. And I was kind of feeling, you know, going through my own stuff, walking across the street downtown, and there was a guy he was being pushed like on a flatbed. He had no legs. And it makes you realize, what am I complaining about? Because not everything in life is perfect. Going through my own crap, everybody does. But I just thought, what in the world? I got my limbs, I'm healthy. I have food, clothing, and shelter. I have love in my life. I have things that are good and bad. But today, I started not to do the show today because it's Memorial Day. I don't really like to do things on a Christmas or, you know, Memorial Day. I don't even know if I did it last year, but I always try to just pay homage to those. But I got to do this for myself to get some steam off my own mind, off my own spirit too. But I was not expecting, and how do you expect anything? The golfer was a kind of a shock to the golf world because he was a good golfer and becoming more well-known. Just like that is over. And then Bill Walton, 71, is young. There's not a lot of people in life that can say they were able to do what made them happy, what they love doing, what God blessed him to do. Bill Walton could say that. He did a lot of what made him happy. And as people are trying to find out that happy spot in life, I just wish people the very best in finding it. Because nothing's guaranteed. Tomorrow's not promised to nobody. Again, Veterans Crisis Hotline, anybody going through issues, 800-273-8255, 800-273-8255, or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give it some praise, because we all need somebody to lean on. We all need that. Wow, that's just weird. It just doesn't make any sense. I do want to say that I love doing my commercial. It's an infomercial, and I want to talk about Memorial Day holiday and how with African Americans, how it started in this country. But I do want to say again, a little bit of, I just feel like really weird knowing that I just saw that Bill Walton passed, because he was one of my favorite athletes and one of my favorite broadcasters. But I'm going to do the best I can. I have an infomercial that I'm working on with the Big C team in RDC. And oh my God, it's just like so poignant right now because of what I was talking about with the program. We have a guide to protect, preserve, and transfer wealth, RDC Consulting Incorporated, in conjunction with the law office of Scott Thibodeau and the law office of George Jones, Long-Term Care Solutions by the book, The Missing Link, over 3 decades of experience, helping seniors get their benefits, Medicare and You, taking care of tomorrow. In California, it's called Medi-Cal. Other places, it's called Medicaid. Your family and spouse can avoid the spin down for nursing home costs. Find out your options. Our promise to you, specialized to navigate and maximize long-term care benefits, protection of your assets without a spin down. All paperwork and communication with all government agencies are handled by our staff of entitlement specialists. Ongoing consulting to provide updates as necessary. It is necessary for a lot of people. Benefits covering skilled nursing facilities, prescriptions, medical equipment costs, and more. Protection of your assets, including your home, thereby allowing you to leave a legacy for your family. Avoid the nightmare of debt brought by the government's estate recovery program called probate. A one-time processing fee versus monthly insurance premiums for the rest of your life. That's just so bizarre. Life is so bizarre. It really is. And with the RDC team, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624, that's 800-772-8624. We can get you some help. But I also want to say asset protection in conjunction with the law office of Scott Thibodeau and the law office of George Jones, especially on a day like today. Protection insurance coverage required by law, general liability, workers' compensation, lawyers specializing in living trust, Medicaid or Medi-Cal planning for long-term care, avoid probate, life insurance, veterans benefits, aid and attendance, pre-planning, and avoid the look-back period. Fixed assets, your bank account, checking account, savings account, money market, certificates of deposit, life insurance with cash values, fixed indexed annuities. What about variable assets? Wow, I'm glad you asked. Real estate, qualified money, IRAs, 401ks, other investments. Avoid capital gains. The step-up basis, when you buy a house $100,000, say the next year it appreciates to $1 million, according to some real estate brokers. They try to sell everything nowadays. That's a $900,000 capital gains. If your property's in a trust, you avoid that. Over 3 decades of experience, attention business owners, find out your other options to protect what your insurance does not cover. Oh, my insurance covers everything, Big C. Well, find out with your declaration page, 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. And when you do, you want to give us some praise, because we all need somebody to lean on, especially when somebody's leaning back. Always good when somebody's leaning back. I do want to say we have endorsements that make it easier to refer the RDC team and the Big C team. Whenever somebody wants you to do business with them, ask them who's already endorsed them. Who they've done business with that endorses them. Well, with us we have the law office of Scott Thibodeau, one of the top attorneys in California. for Estate Planning. We also have Mr. George Jones, the chairman of the California Black Chamber of Commerce, also California Black Chamber of Commerce Foundation. We have Mr. Leon Woods, Resource Development Consulting, works with many of the top lobbyists in California. We have Miss Cheryl Brown. She's the chair of the California Commission on Aging. You can't get much more of an endorsement than that. I really do appreciate her and her endorsement with the RDC team. You got to see, sometimes you got to say it twice. Miss Cheryl Brown. She's the chair of the California Commission on Aging. Mr. Ray De La Cruz, the CEO of Resource Development Consulting, had the endorsement of the late Robert Carlson, the top legal mind of CalPERS in California. We have Mr. Alex De La Cruz, founder of American Veterans Benefits, and that's important. We also have Charlton Curry, co-chair of the National Black Wall Street Project, also business development consultant with RDC team. We have Double O, a consultant with the RDC team, also payout committee for the National Black Wall Street Project, has her own economics awareness talk show called Let's Eat. And everybody likes to eat. Really do appreciate her. There's a lot of things that I do with the RDC team. We're just growing and growing and growing. And I want to make sure that I reach out to other brokers too and let them know that we have opportunities. And oh my goodness, just had an epiphany. I ran across a seniors resource guide and I was calling it, and it was given to me at a library. I was looking for something else. And a lady walked up to me and said, "Would you like this too?" And I said, "Well, sure." That's one of those moments where you feel like God's shining on you. And I started calling through it. There's several. When I look in the book, I want to say there's approximately 126 pages. And and each one of those pages has probably about 20 contacts. So I've been calling them and asking them who is their HR department that handles long-term care entitlements. And I was told, we have that person, would you like to leave a message? And I said, yes, I'd like to talk to your HR department about long-term care entitlements, and we'd like to present some information to you. Everybody said yes. Not one person said no. I wasn't even looking for that book. But that's how God's been doing things. And so now I have some appointments set up this week to deal with that too. But that's part of life. And again, today's show I hope is not melancholy, because obviously I'm going to talk about some things that it just makes, I don't like talking about it, but I got to, because it's part of life. So I want to just say, I want to start with Memorial Day, and then I'll get into some things. But before I even do that, oh my God, I'm talking about Memorial Day, and I want to pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force, because a mind is interpreting the ways. And then I'll come back and talk about Memorial Day. I want to make sure I do this the right way, because I'm a little bit disjointed today. Disjointed? What's that mean, Big C? You gotta Google disjointed. But that's how I feel. I feel disjointed today, and I don't like feeling that way. But disjointed or not, I want to pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. It really is. I want to give praise to Camila Moore. She's the chair. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. She's an attorney that specializes in restorative justice. I want to give praise to Dr. Emmett C. Brown. He's brilliant. Love giving him praise. He came on the Big C Sports Podcast show last month. I want to give praise to California Senator Stephen Bradford. He's brilliant. He helped sponsor bills 1331, 1403, and 1050 for reparations in California that passed by the California State Senate, even though there are a lot of cynical people that say, "Oh, we're wasting your time." Well, he's not wasting his time. Now it goes through the assembly, need 41 votes out of 80, and I think it's going to happen. At the same time, I love giving them praise. I'm going to give praise to Councilmember Monica Montgomery Stepp. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to give praise to Dr. Shell Grill. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to Attorney Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. She's actually specializes in in diversity, equity, and inclusion that some politicians want to get rid of. That doesn't make any sense. So I really do appreciate her. I want to give praise to Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at California Berkeley. Love giving him praise. I want to give praise to Attorney Donald K. Tamaki, professor. He's an amazing man, Japanese American, who actually got reparations. I want to give him all praise. Give him all praise, praise, praise. We all need to give praise to those who are doing work. I always believe, as I was growing up, either lead, follow, or get out of the way. And sometimes people have their own issues How do you lead? You lead by example, and sometimes we get it wrong, and sometimes we get it right. For me, I get it wrong and right. But no matter what, I want to talk about something that was sent to me today. It's called The Overlooked Black History of Memorial Day. I said the overlooked Black history of Memorial Day. April 1865, there was a photo of the graves of Union soldiers buried at the racecourse turned Confederate prison, where historians believe the earliest Memorial Day ceremony took place. And ironically, nowadays Memorial Day honors veterans of all wars, but its roots are in America's deadliest conflict, the Civil War. Approximately 620,000 soldiers died, and 2/3 passed away from disease. Is that crazy? That's just bizarre. At the same time, when you think about the work of honoring those who have passed on began right away all over the country, and several American towns that want to claim that they're the birthplace of Memorial Day. But researchers have traced the earliest annual commemoration to women who laid flowers on soldiers' graves in the Civil War hospital town of Columbus, Mississippi in 1866. But historians like Pulitzer Prize winner David Blight have tried to raise awareness of freed slaves who decorated soldiers, their graves, a year earlier to make sure their story gets told too. That's important to understand. According to Bright's 2001 book, Race and Reunion, the Civil War in American Memory, a commemoration organized by freed slaves and some white missionaries, took place May 1, 1865 in Charleston, South Carolina at a former planters' racetrack where Confederates held and captured Union soldiers during the last year of the war. At least 257 prisoners died, many from disease, and were buried in unmarked graves. So black residents of Charleston decided to give them a proper burial. That's information you really don't hear a lot about. Because even though we celebrate Memorial Day, no black soldier got the GI Bill. Not one. No black soldier benefited from the Homestead Act of 1862. Not one. But in approximately 10 days leading up to the event, roughly 24 African Americans, Charlestonians, reorganized the graves into rows and built a 10-foot tall white fence around them. An archway overhead spelled out "Martyrs of the Racecourse" in black letters. It's amazing. I want to tell you about 10,000 people, mostly black residents, participated in the May 1 tribute, according to coverage back then by the Charleston Daily Courier and the New York Tribune. Starting 9 a.m. and about 3,000 black school children paraded around the racetrack, holding roses and singing the Union song, "John Brown's Body," and were followed by adults representing aid societies for freed black men and women. Black pastors delivered sermons and led attendees in prayer. That's you really don't hear much about, but you heard about it on the Big C Sports Podcast today. And they were followed by adults representing aid societies and singing in spirituals. There were picnics, like a lot of people having picnics today. James Redpath, the white director of Freedmen's Education in the region, organized about 30 speeches by Union officers. Missionaries and black ministers participants sang patriotic songs like "America," and we all rally around the flag and the Star-Spangled Banner. And in the afternoon, 3 white and black Union regiments marched around the graves and staged the drill. The New York Tribune described the tribute as a procession of friends and mourners as South Carolina and the United States never saw before. The grave sites looked like a one mass of flowers in the breeze, and the sweet perfumes and the tears of the joys were shared. There's a lot of people shedding tears on Memorial Day. You know, a lot of things going on in life that are just not that great to talk about it. But I want to just do my part and pay homage to Memorial Day. The tribute gave birth to an American tradition called Blight wrote in race and reunion, the war was over. Memorial Day had been founded by African Americans in a ritual of remembrance. In 1996, Blight stumbled upon the New York Herald Tribune article detailing the tribute in a Harvard University archive, but the origin story it was told was not the Memorial Day history that many white people have wanted to tell. He argues, about 50 years after the Civil War ended, someone at the United Daughters of the Confederacy asked the Ladies Memorial Association of Charleston to confirm that the May 1, 1865 tribute occurred. They want to make sure that it occurred, and they were challenging it. And when you realize, received a reply from one South Carolina, Beckwith, I regret that I was unable to gather any official information in answer to this, whether Beckwith actually knew about the tribute or not. Blight argues that the exchange illustrates how white Charlestonians suppressed its memory of the founding. A 1937 book also incorrectly stated that James Redpath single-handedly organized the tribute, when in reality it was a group effort, and it took place on May 30 when it actually took place on May 1st. That book also diminishes the role of the African Americans involved by referring to them as Black Hands, which only knew that the dead they were honoring had raised them from a condition of servitude. The origin of the story, it did stick, involves in 1868. This stuff you're not going to hear on other programs, even that the information's out there. It's so important. The origin of the story, it did stick, involves an 1868 call from General John A. Logan, president of a Union Army veteran group, urging Americans to decorate the graves of the fallen with flowers on May 30 of that year. The ceremony that took place in Arlington National Cemetery that day has been considered the first official Memorial Day celebration. Memorial Day became a national holiday 2 decades later in 1889, and it took a century before it was moved to 1968 to the last Monday of May, where it remains today. According to Blight, you got to realize America won't let you know that black soldiers started that. It was black soldiers that helped the Union win the Civil War. And it was moved in 1968 to the last Monday of May, which is what we have today. According to Blight, Hampton Park, named after Confederate General Wade Hampton, replaced the gravesite at the Martyrs of the Race Course and the graves and the grave sites in 1880s at a national cemetery in Beaufort, South Carolina. The fact that the Freed Slaves Memorial Day tribute is not as well remembered is emblematic of the struggle that would follow as African Americans fight to be fully recognized for their contributions to American society continues to this day. That's so powerful because many people think that it was started by white people. It was not. Oh, there you go again, Big C, with that race stuff. You can Google it. There's a lot of things that have been done where African Americans were not included. And I love doing Big C Sports Podcast because I have the ability to talk about things that even I may not hear other places. But that's my thought. Memorial Day, I want to wish all of our veterans and people who serve in the military now, want to give you all praise. Give you praise, praise, praise. Well, that's my story. I'm sticking with it. I want to take the time to do something because, again, today's show is a little bit different. I got my own personal junk that I'm dealing with. But I also got to say that when I heard of the passing of a young golfer, it just seemed like 30 is too young. I mean, anybody can go through something. And oftentimes it seems like a shock to those who may not know that people are going through things. And that's a fact. So, golfer Grayson Murray passed away by suicide after withdrawing from the Charles Schwab Challenge. That's a shock to me to even hear that. But this is just fresh. He was 30 years old and became evident as he withdrew from Friday's second round of the 2024 Charles Schwab Challenge, citing an illness. A day after Murray's death rocked the larger sports world, his parents announced in a statement to the PGA Tour that he had passed away by suicide. And at those moments, people thought, the obvious thing is, could someone have reached out to him? Pretty sure people who knew tried. But the family said they would like to thank the PGA Tour and the entire golf community for the outpouring of support. Eric and Terry Murray said, life wasn't always easy for Grayson, and although he took his own life, we know he rests peacefully now. An undeniable talent, Murray was the second youngest golfer in history to make the cut on the Korn Ferry Tour before turning eventually pro in 2015. He bounced up and down between the Korn Ferry Tour and the PGA Tour over the course of his career, becoming a polarizing figure at times because of frequent outbursts on the course. Still, his potential it consistently flashed as he won twice on the PGA Tour, capturing the 2017 Barbasol Championship and 2024 Sony Open in Hawaii, and 3 times on the Korn Ferry Tour. He won the Sony Open, and again, this young man, 30 years old, is way too young. Wish he could have got some help. But it seems as if Murray had turned a corner after battling anxiety. A lot of people have anxiety. I have my own anxiety. Depression. Who hasn't dealt with depression at some time? And alcohol abuse throughout his young career. He said in January that he had been sober since early 2023. He also shared that he was unprepared for the life as a pro when he first got out of college and began traveling. So, again, I just want to say thoughts and prayers to that family. And my goodness, life, we got to enjoy life every day. Every single day is a gift, and we got to enjoy that gift. I want to talk about something now that, to me, when I heard that Bill Walton had passed away, God, I don't want this to be a macabre show, but I'm just real, I'm human. Bill Walton, NBA Hall of Famer and national broadcaster, passed away at 71 years old. 71 is young. Because you see people on TV, you think you know them. And it makes you feel closer to them. But he won championships in high school, college, UCLA, and the pros Portland Trail Blazers and Boston Celtics before turning to TV as a talkative game analyst in the college ranks. You know, Bill Walton is amazing as a broadcaster. A center whose extraordinary passing ability made him just one of the great big guys of the game. And when you think about it, not only was he a star, he played for the great John Wooden. Talk about the pressure of that. Playing for the great John Wooden and also being an NBA star. Life is something that we all gotta enjoy every breath we take. And to have that news kind of hit me in the stomach. Because I wasn't who could expect that? No one could expect that. But at the same time, they said he passed away today at his home in San Diego, 71 years old, of colon cancer, which everyone should get their checkup. Walton was a great player at UCLA with Coach John Wooden and the hub of the Bruins team that won NCAA championships in 1972 and 1973, an extended 88-game winning streak that had begun in 1971. He was named the National Player of the Year 3 times. His greatest game was the 1973 National Championship game against Mississippi State, played in St. Louis. He got into foul trouble in the first half, but went on to score a record 44 points, dropped 44 points on 21 of 22 shooting, and had 11 rebounds in UCLA's 87-66 victory. It was the school's 9th title in 10 years. That's how great the great Bill Walton was. No matter what people think about the great Bill Walton, his broadcast style, he was inimitable. No one could be him because he was just kind of, they call him that rocker mentality with a microphone in his face. But he kept it real. He loved Pac-10 and Pac-12 sports. A champion for that conference that's now becoming part of the Big Ten and the Big 12, unfortunately. More championships than any other conference overall, the Conference of Champions. I wanna take the time to just say, again, thoughts and prayers to his family. He played one more year at UCLA before being selected by the Portland Trail Blazers first overall in 1974 in the NBA draft. He had a lot of injuries, 2 losing seasons under coach Lenny Wilkins, and criticism for his vegetarian diet and his red ponytail beard before winning the 1977 championship under coach Jack Ramsey. It's amazing that he had such a great life. But to go from colon cancer, which all men should get those checkups, and maybe he was getting checkups, but it's something that we should do on an annual basis. Colon cancer should not be what men pass away from. It just should not. But those things in life that we think about, my goodness, that just is too soon. It's too soon. Is too soon. So there are other thoughts that came, of course, all over the basketball world today with Bill Walton. One of his best college basketball players ever won this 1978 NBA MVP award and 2 NBA championships with the Portland Trail Blazers and Boston Celtics. But 71 is young, especially in today's world. He was truly one of a kind as a Hall of Fame player. He redefined the center position, NBA Commissioner Adam Silver said in a press release. But what I remember most about him was his zest for life. He was a regular presence at league events, always upbeat, smiling ear to ear, looking to share his wisdom and his warmth. He said he treasured those close friendships, envied his boundless energy, and admired the time he took with every person he encountered. Born November 5th in 1952 in La Mesa, California, Walton's basketball career began at grade school at Blessed Sacrament in San Diego, where he learned from a fireman named Frank Graziano, who eventually convinced him to forget about football and focus on basketball. That was some of the greatest advice you could have gotten, the great Bill Walton. Focus on basketball instead of football. He grew about 7 feet tall. He was a skinny, scrawny guy. Walton could tell a lot of sports shows later, and decades later, that he stuttered horrendously, couldn't speak at all, and was very shy. A reserved player and a very shy reserved person, and he found a safe place in the life of basketball. A lot of people can be shy, but they may seem more gregarious when they have a microphone in front of their face. He went on to Helix High School in La Mesa, where he played basketball with his older brother Bruce, who eventually went on to play for the Dallas Cowboys. When you think about it, Reggie Bush played at Helix High School in La Mesa. So did Alex Smith. So that school's produced a lot of great players over the years. Alex Smith played football at Utah, obviously, with the Kansas City Chiefs and Washington. And Reggie Bush played football at Helix and then USC. And then from USC went on to play, got drafted by the New Orleans Saints. And then obviously had some injuries, etc., but now does a lot of college football shows where people can figure out who they want to follow. But just want to spare a little moment of silence for them, for Bill Walton. And when I think about, sports is something else. I've been all my life admired athletes because they have for the most part, they have a willpower that I don't often see in other people growing up. But his brother Bruce played for the Dallas Cowboys, who would often serve as an enforcer when opponents got too rough. With Bill, together they remained the only brothers to play in the Super Bowl and NBA Finals. That's something. Early in his high school career, Walton broke his ankle, his leg, and multiple bones in his foot, and underwent knee surgery, which began his lifelong battle with injuries. After his sophomore year, he had a growth spurt that took him from 6'1" to 6'7". He would eventually grow to 6'11", which turned him into a big man instead of a guard. Walton got his first chance in the NBA when players from the then San Diego Rockets was become obviously the Clippers, and now, well, they went on to become the Houston Rockets. But the San Diego Rockets would play pickup games at Helix High School. In order to get into the gym, they would contact Walton, who had his own key. Once Hall of Famer Elvin Hayes even called Walton's house and spoke with his mother. Here's a grown man calling she's never talked to and said, "Who is this?" Walton would call. And Elvin Hayes said, I'm Billy there. Is Billy there? And my mom says, "I'm Billy's mother. Who is this?" Elvin Hayes said, "Tell Billy Big E is calling, and we need him to open the gym tonight. I'm on the floor." And my mom puts her hand over the phone and says, "Billy, who is this guy, Biggie? He sounds old. Is everything okay?" And he said, "Yeah, Mom, that's the Big E. Give me the phone." But over the final two high school seasons, Walton led Helix High School to 2 California CIF championships and a 49-game winning streak. As a senior, he shot 78% from the field, which remains a national high school record for field goal percentage. Hall of Fame coach Denny Crum, who was then an assistant at UCLA under the great John Wooden, he called Walton the best high school player he'd ever seen after scouting him. And Wooden admonished Crum for such a statement, telling him, "It makes you look like an idiot." The Bruins signed Walton away, and then when Crum was proven correct, at the time, the freshmen were not only allowed to play in the varsity, so he had to begin his career on the freshman team. That led to a 20-0 record. He moved up to varsity at the start of the 1972 and 1973 season, which began one of the greatest careers in college basketball history. In 3 seasons, Walton was named Naismith College Player of the Year 3 times, a feat matched only by Ralph Sampson, and led UCLA to 2 national championships and was awarded the Final Four Most Outstanding Player twice. His 44 points against Memphis State in 1973 remains a national championship game record. The Bruins went 86-4 over Walton's 3 seasons, and he played a part in what is still a Division I record, 88-game winning streak by the UCLA Bruins. And that run ended in Walton's senior campaign, where they lost to Notre Dame, a game Walton was playing in a back brace due to a broken spine that he suffered earlier in the season, and the Bruins went on to make the national championship game again, but fell to David Thompson and North Carolina State in double overtime. Now, Walton made just as many waves off the court as he did in Los Angeles. During his junior season, he was arrested at a Vietnam War protest. We're having Memorial Day celebrations today. And one of the first indications of his politics, and he had bailed out by Wooden. His coach bailed him out. "Your generation has screwed up the world. My generation is trying to straighten it out," Walton said to his coach in a statement after the incident. "Money doesn't mean anything to me. I can't buy happiness, and I just want to be happy." Walton and Wooden often clashed throughout their years together as coach and player, but formed a lifelong bond when Wooden passed away back in 2010. And Walton joked that he drove the poor guy to an early grave when he was 99. Coach Wooden never talked about winning and losing, but rather about the effort to win. Walton said he rarely talked about basketball, but generally about life. He never talked about strategy, statistics, or plays, but rather about people and character. Coach Wooden never tried telling us that once you become a good person, then you have a chance of becoming a good basketball player. As the best prospect on the planet, Walton had options when looking to begin his professional career. He had actually been first drafted in 1973. May lightning strike! 1973. And you think about how great his life has been to play at UCLA, win championships, to play in the NBA, and win championships, and then to become a great broadcaster. Isn't that something? The fact that here he has passed, and Boston's trying to win a championship the year that he passes. To me, that's just bizarre. Life has its own way of doing things. But it's just amazing how a lot of people like myself love the broadcast world and the sports world. He's done it all. I think when I think about Bill Walton, you got to look at his professional career. He had actually been first drafted in 1973 by the ABA's Dallas Chaparrals, who failed to convince him to leave college early. In 1974, he had the chance to join the ABA, and played for his hometown San Diego Conquistadors under head coach Wilt Chamberlain, but went to the NBA route instead and was selected number 1 overall by the Portland Trail Blazers. The great Sam Gilbert, Walton's attorney at the time, said one ABA group offered more money than Portland, but I believe he was influenced by people in the NBA just like Jerry West and Sidney Wicks, who spoke to him, and he said, I think he wanted to play against the best. Though Walton's talent easily translated to the NBA, he was hampered by injuries in his first 2 seasons at various points, and he had problems with his fingers, he had problems with his wrist, and broke his toe on a water sprinkler and injured his leg in a Jeep accident. All told, he was limited to 86 games over his first 2 seasons. In his 3rd season, everything clicked into place as the Trailblazers added Maurice Lucas and then hired Jack Ramsey as their new head coach. And Walton stayed healthy. Walton led the league in rebounding at 14 rebounds per game and 3.2 blocks per game, and the Trailblazers won 49 games to make the playoffs for the first time in franchise history. They swept Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and the Los Angeles Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, and then beat Julius Erving and the Philadelphia 76ers to win the NBA title, the only one in Portland's franchise history. Still, the only time that you had it is when they had the great Bill Walton. Clyde the Glide Drexler came a little bit short against Michael Jordan and the Bulls back over the 90s. But Bill Walton is the best player, best competitor, best person they've ever met, Coach Ramsey said. After the victory, Erving declared him an inspiration. And Walton, who averaged 18.5 points, 19 rebounds, and 5.2 assists, and 3.7 blocks in that series, was named Finals MVP. Walton and company carried Blazer Mania to the 1978 season. They went 50-10 through their first 60 games. Then Walton broke his foot in February and was sidelined for the remainder of the regular season. He was named MVP despite playing in just 58 games, which is still the fewest of any MVP winner in a full 82-game season. Walton attempted to come back for the playoffs, but re-injured his foot in Game 2 of the Trailblazers' first-round series against the Seattle Supersonics and never played for the team again. In the summer of 1978, Walton requested a trade out of Portland and accused the organization of medical malpractice. He later sued the team physician for $5.6 million, and the matter was settled out of court. It was the most difficult decision he ever had to make regarding his basketball career, Walton said in a statement about his trade request at the time. The tremendous loyalty and support of my teammates and the Portland Trailblazer fans have made that decision much tougher. Nothing transpired, and Walton sat out the entire 1978-1979 season. He became a free agent that summer. He signed a 7-year, $7 million deal with the San Diego Clippers at the time, which are now the LA Clippers, which made him the highest paid player in the league. $7 million? My things have changed. At the time, the league rules required the team who signed veteran free agents had to pay compensation to the other teams. As a result, the Clippers sent Kermit Washington and then Kevin Garnett a first-round draft pick and $350,000 to the Portland Trailblazers, which annoyed his new teammates. It destroys the team. Clippers guard Lloyd B. Free, later World B. Free, said at the time, it's like someone, I hate saying that word, it's just a sad moment for them. But when you think about Walton, a frustrating 6th season with the Clippers in which Walton played a total of 169 games and then missed the entire 1980, 1981, and 1981 and 1982 seasons. Desperate to play again, Walton underwent a risky surgery to try and fix his left foot, which had been the biggest source of trouble throughout his career. He also used a time off to go to law school at Stanford and stayed in shape by playing beach volleyball and cycling with his close friend, Grateful Dead drummer Mickey Hart. Walton also was devoted a lifelong deadhead and even once played drums with the band during a concert in Egypt. Walton made his return at start of the 1982-83 campaign, though he was restricted to 1 game per week on doctor's orders in order to make sure that his procedure worked. Walton played 33 games that season and 55 the next season, which proved to be the end of the professional basketball in San Diego. The team's now disgraced then owner Donald Sterling moved the team to Los Angeles ahead of the 1984-85 season. Without a league approval, Walton appeared in 67 games in his long season in LA and a career high at that point. But as it goes on, Walton's career, he was able to join the Boston Celtics The Clippers eventually traded him to the Celtics in exchange for Cedric Maxwell and a first-round pick that later became Arvydas Sabonis. His son plays for the Sacramento Kings now. In order to complete the deal, Walton had to pass a physical, which he did so with the help of Red Auerbach. So at the same time he went on to win a championship with the Boston Celtics, he had some favor from doctors that could turn the other way. What they say, look the other way, turn the other cheek, look the other way. But something about the great Bill Walton, his last hurrah, he played 22 more games and made his finals appearance during this Game 6 in the 1987 NBA Finals. And the Celtics were eliminated by the Lakers. A short-lived comeback attempt in 1990 went nowhere. But at the thing about Walton, he finished his career with 2 championships, an MVP, a Finals MVP, a Sixth Man of the Year award, 2 All-Star appearances, 2 All-NBA team nods, and 1 first, 1 second, and 2 All-Defensive First Team honors. Additionally, his number 32 jersey was retired by the Portland Trailblazers. In 1989, he was inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame in 1993 and was elected the NBA's 50th anniversary team in 1996 and the 75th anniversary team in 2021. Well, following his retirement from NBA, he became a successful broadcaster working with CBS, NBC, ESPN, and the Los Angeles Clippers before stepping away in 2009 due to back problems. A few years later, he returned to work with the Sacramento Kings on a part-time basis, then rejoined ESPN and the Pac-12 Network, where he's still been calling games. This season, he won an Emmy in 2001 and was known for his entertaining style, and sometimes people said incoherent style, but he was a guy that loved sports. He played it at the highest level of high school, at Helix High School, at the highest level at UCLA, at the highest level for the Portland Trailblazers, at the highest level for the Boston Celtics. But today was a little bit different for me. I know everybody has their own thoughts about life, and do you celebrate life? Of course you do. Every day you gotta rise and shine. People going through stuff, good and bad. At the same time, you do the best you can, and you make the most out of life. If you love someone, tell them. If somebody's going through issues, reach out to them. So today was a weird show for me. But the show, I had to do it because that's what I tell myself. At the same time, thoughts and prayers to everybody going through something. And I just wish everybody the very best this Memorial Day holiday. Well, that's my story. I'm sticking with it. As I always tell you, especially on this weekend, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. Because mothers against drunk drivers are mad. And fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things I can do. You can call Uber. You can call Lyft. You can walk it off. You can sleep it off. But don't let someone you love get behind the wheel of a car and start drinking and driving. It makes no sense. The life you save may be your own or someone that you love. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, I love paying homage to my beautiful family legacy on my mother's side, my great-grandparents, Mama and Pop, my grandparents, Madia and Hezekiah. I could always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and coached an all-boys Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Always saying rise and shine, the best person I ever met in my life. On my father's side, I love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. On my father's side, my grandparents, Albert and Alberta Curry, they had 3 churches, owned 2 gas stations in Oakland. And I remember I was walking through her hallway at 8 years old, about 10 o'clock at night. She touched me on my forehead. She said, "What are you doing, young man? Going to get some cookies?" I said, "What are you doing? Grandma, it's 10 o'clock at night. You normally go to bed at 8:30. She said, "What are you doing, young man? Going to get some cookies?" I said, "Cookies are baby crap to what I'm doing, Grandma. I'm going to get my reparations." And a couple of cookies wouldn't hurt. It's been a long time. Really a lovely woman. She said, "There's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak." And then my beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure planes can fly high so we can all stay safe at night. Always saying develop your mind to its highest extent. Love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic voice. Sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak. A voracious reader, always saying go forward. I love Todd with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors, and 3.5 years from a major university. You can be anything you want to be, Daisy. She said in the very first interview for Big C Sports back at Salem Media, it became the first time in the history of the United States that NFL Monday Night Football started broadcasting live on the Wall Street Business Network. They would normally go to ESPN. Daisy, you can be anything you want to be. Always trust God, Isaiah 54:17. That no weapon formed against you will prosper. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College graduate, very smart, a good man. I love you, Malcolm. You help me save trees. I used to always get newspapers and look up stats for Big C Sports Podcast. One day, Malcolm said, Dad, why don't you just Google it? And a light bulb went up. Been Googling ever since. Now on 29 podcast platforms and streaming on 4 TV platforms. One day, Malcolm said, Dad, you want to see Big C Sports on TV? I said, sure. He said, pick up the remote, aim it at the TV, and say, play Big C Sports. You see your show come up. That's before it was even on the air. Now it's streaming on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Malcolm, you can be anything you want to be. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Always trust God, Isaiah 54:17, that no weapon formed against you will prosper. I love you with everything I have. And then Big C, with all that wealth and knowledge over the years, always saying you got to believe, you got to believe, you got to believe. Saying, let's get ready to rumble. I love saying, welcome to the show. SB nominated Big C Sports Podcast. I have no scripts. That's obvious, Big C. I have no three-way teleprompters. I have no producer in my ear. All I get is my gland in the brain called the pineal gland. The angels call it the third eye. They say that's how you talk to God. And I'm trying to exercise mine, and I just recommend everybody exercise theirs. Man, what a tough time getting through the day's show. But I just want people to just always do the best you can, always rise and shine the best you can. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I love saying that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He's known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, and you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat. And every time I listen to Big C Sports, I want a champion. Reparations now, reparations forever. And then I float like a butterfly, and I sting like a bee. My beautiful mother always says that's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to do that crap on their own. If anybody's hitting you, call 911. If anybody's kicking you, call 911. If anybody's choking you out, call 911. No man, woman, or child should ever put up with that crap. Don't put up with it, call 911. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. People change when the police show up. Well, as I always tell you, on every Big C Sports show, I want to say Happy Memorial Day. Thoughts and prayers to everyone that's lost somebody. When I heard that Bill Walton passed, that's like a kick in the stomach because he's one of my favorite broadcasters. But everybody must rise and shine every day. Well, that's my story. I'm sticking with it. President Biden, let's do this together. Sign reparations now. Sign reparations forever. Come on, say it like your heart, mind, body, and soul believes in it. Sign reparations now. Sign reparations forever. Say it. Say it like our veterans that gave their life for this country to do the right thing. Sign reparations now. Sign reparations forever. I thank you. I appreciate you. And I hope that you have a super fantastic day.